Hi, everybody. I'm meteorologist Joe Chaffee. Let's see what's going on first in the short range and then in the longer range, because by now you probably got wind of what the models are doing for the end of next week. But let's do first things first. This is this big upper vortex with very, very cold air that's going to be coming in later tomorrow and for much of next week. And right down here is this southern stream piece of energy that we've been following along. And what the models have done, and this has actually happened a few times over the fall months, that I noticed that with these weak southern systems that come out, so we've had a few cold fronts that have stalled out, and models initially show no issues, and then suddenly there's a wave on it, and we've had clouds issues from that, and I think there were even a couple of instances where we actually did get some rain. Now, here is that southern stream system by tomorrow morning. You can see the vortex is kind of lining up, almost trying to phase, but it never really quite gets there. And then you kind of lose that southern system as the, at least you can pick it out here, but the big dominating feature is this northern upper vortex. And I guess from the standpoint of a winter storm, this would have to just have dug a little bit more to pull this up a little bit more, but it seems to be trying to do that to some degree. And then as we go through tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, the vortex, of course, completely takes over, and it gets very, very cold here Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And then you'll see a system here at the middle of next week, Tuesday night, but that winds up weakening as it comes to the east. You can just barely find it. And we have a stronger system that comes into the Pacific Northwest, and you can see what happens here. By the time we get to Thursday, it dives down into Oklahoma. There's a northern jet here that's kind of keeping cold air in place, but at the same time, it's not getting so vigorous that you wind up pulling a primary up. And unlike this event from yesterday, you'll notice that the trough axis is still tilted north, northeast, south, southwest. It hasn't quite swung around here, so it's not going to be another issue, at least I don't think it is, of taking another primary to the Great Lakes. And the European, by the way, shows this idea as well as from the last few runs. And then the system begins to intensify and heads to the coast, moves right overhead, and then up into the Gulf of Maine by next Sunday. Now, this is what it looks like. We're going to change up here. Just going to go to the surface map, and you'll be able to see what it looks like on the surface. First off, let's review the short range. Okay, here's that first low. Now, this is as much the coastal low precipitation shield, and at the same time, you've got the Arctic air, the Arctic front that's kind of enhancing this. So the GFS has this now at its furthest west position than all the previous runs, and then it moves away. And then you can see this system here for the middle part of the week just falls apart. It dies out in the mountains and never gets here. But there's that third system right here in Arkansas. You can see there's a low there that goes into Tennessee and into southern Kentucky and then eastern Kentucky. And notice it does build a high this time around, does build a high into just north of upstate New York. You've got cold air that's dammed down into the Appalachian Mountains. The primary dies out in eastern Kentucky, southern West Virginia, redevelops in North Carolina, and then you take on the GFS a deepening low that goes just to our south and shows snow for all of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Now, the difference with the day-run European is that it really didn't lift it up. It just kind of took it more straight east-northeast. So the precip never really gets further north than, say, southern New Jersey. But that is the day run. This model and the Canadian model, by the way, have been remarkably consistent run to run. So I think the idea of a storm being somewhere in here is correct. What we need to resolve now, ultimately, I suppose, will be the track. Now, let's go back to the short ranges. I want to show you the Canadian run, the RGEM run, which is a very short-term model. And last winter, it was remarkably good for a number of events. And you can see what happens by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It has snow, light snows through all of Virginia, western North Carolina. I don't know how much this is in terms of actual total accumulation. I'm imagining it's light. But this run is even further left than the previous runs. Has snow into the southern portions of New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, and then for a short period, brings it up to just New York City, north of New York City, into Long Island, doesn't quite get into the northwestern counties of New Jersey by late tomorrow afternoon, and then tomorrow evening it's already gone and goodbye. So I really think that in the end, this is really just a matter of getting a few flakes in a cheap thrill if it is further left. Maybe if it's a little bit further left, it buys you a couple of more hours, you whiten the ground, or a little bit more. But we'll watch the model trends. I always like to have open minds with these things. They get a little scary when they get this close. And the other thing is that you also do have the Arctic front and the Arctic air coming in Sunday night and Monday. And even though the models aren't really good at showing this, I really would not be surprised to see some snow showers and maybe even a snow squall or two in some areas that could also whiten the ground. And I'm talking about areas inland and the coast here for Sunday night into Monday morning as the core of this very cold air comes in for Monday. Temperatures Monday are going to get down into the 20s and probably even into the lower 20s and stay there, and then down in the teens and single digits here Monday night and Tuesday morning. So a lot to watch this week. Let's see what the day Sunday brings to us with this first little system that's going by to our south and east. The cold air comes in, and then we have much to look at down the road. Have a good Sunday and enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend.